There?
Okay.
Yes, we would love to have you on our table.
No, I don't want.
I'd love to be on the table.
I don't want to see you on the
For
table.
those of you watching, I forgot to turn the camera on, so. The first one was stuff on the Constitution, where we talked about the Articles of Confederation and Shays' Rebellion and the compromises at the Constitutional Convention, and the process of getting the Bill of Rights approved. You need to know those. Okay. And Federalist 10 is what we're talking about, and how the factions can balance each other out, right? And protect the majority. Protect the minority, right? And against the majority. Okay? You are going to have an FRQ that's going to probably have, oftentimes they're about the Constitution or federalism, and they have evidence, a list of evidence that you're supposed to use or that you can use, including these federalists that we all talked about, right? You have to go back to them and read your highlights, read what you said about it, what we talked about, okay? Even look at your answers to the questions I gave you. You have to know them. You guys understand that, right? I'm getting through to you on that. Then we get checks and balances, and Federalist 51 is about that. So you need to make sure you review that too. But they talk about, Madison talks about, talks about factions in Federalist 51 also, but the main reason that you have to read it is for checks and balances. And he talks about how they work, okay? And you need to take a look at that. So, the federal and state check each other, okay? The House and the Senate check each other in the Congress. That's one of the things that Madison mentions. The executive, let's just go through some of the checks. What checks does the president have over the legislature?
Veto.
Veto. Okay? Is there anything else he can do?
You can like persuade the
Chief
people.
legislator.
You can try to persuade them, right? But it's not, which is not really a check, it's a power. It's not really so much a check, okay? What about the checks by the executive on the judicial?
Oh.
I know these are up in front of you, but yeah.
Appoint new justices.
You can appoint, you can nominate new justices, right? Okay, yes?
You can ignore what the judicial says.
You can maybe ignore what the judicial decided, like good old Andrew Jackson.
What's more
Good old was
conservative?
probably the wrong word. I went to his plantation one time, the Hermitage. Oh, it was kind of interesting. Well, it really showed, one of the things it showed was the impact of slavery, because they had slave quarters and things like that. What about the checks of the legislative on the judicial? What if the Congress doesn't like something that the court decides?
They make a new law.
They can try to make a new law. If there's a problem with the law, it's unconstitutional, they can try to fix it. Okay, what other kind of new law could they make? If it's
Amendments?
unconstitutional, what can they do?
Amend?
Amend the Constitution. Amend the Constitution. Okay? The legislative also gets to confirm those judicial appointments, remember? It's not just the nomination from the president, it's the confirmation from the Senate. And the legislative can impeach justices. Just like they can impeach a president, they can impeach a justice. And they can change the number of judges. Okay? Which basically they did when they refused to replace Scalia. They basically, I was listening to Buttigieg last night, he said, you know, basically they changed the number of Supreme Court justices to 8 for a year. So they got a new president, and they changed it back to 9. How does the legislative overcome the executive?
They could impeach him?
They could impeach him. What else can they do?
2/3 vote in both houses.
They can overcome a veto with 2/3 vote, right? And how does the judicial check the executive?
Judicial review.
Judicial review. They can declare the law unconstitutional. Same thing with Congress, right? That's how they check Congress. Okay? These are really important, these checks. Okay? You really have to know those. All right? Now, we talked about separation of powers a little bit. Okay? Mostly what we mean when we talk about separation of powers is the separation between the three branches. But there's also a separation between the federal and state, right? Okay, how is the Constitution amended?
Congress.
Congress does the first step. There are two steps,
Oh, the
right?
states vote on it?
The states have to vote on it in the second step, right? Congress, it's always been done this way. You can have a convention to suggest a new amendment, but it's never been done. So usually it's Congress. And what kind of vote do you need in Congress to propose a new amendment? 2/3. Okay, then it goes out to the states. It can be either state conventions, right, or state legislatures that do it. Usually it's a legislature, but not always. And
We need a 3/4.
you need a 3/4 vote for that. So you have to remember there's two stages, right? What about informal amendments to the Constitution? How do we informally amend? Well, one example is the one I just gave you, how basically Congress just refused to approve a new judicial appointee. Okay? People sometimes don't enforce laws. You should look at the list because I'm never really good at this for some reason. But there are ways basically that we have altered the Constitution over time. For example, originally they really wanted the electors to be independent, right? Are they independent now? Who do they vote for?
Their party.
The people the same person that the people voted for, right? Okay, so that's really an informal amendment. Nobody changed the language, but that's the way it works. Okay? So one way we change the Constitution is through practice. Another way is through reinterpretation over time. Right? The 14th Amendment used to mean there was federal protection against discrimination by states, but they never enforced it. And now it protects all sorts of people from discrimination. Not just people of color, but gay people and women. All right, let's try something. Let's see how this works.
Wait, I should be scared.
Flashcards? It's like
Well, you pick a card. Tell repeat.
I thought it